Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 81 of the Best Day Ever Crafting Podcast. This is a podcast about my making journey and celebrating with you all the reasons why crafting every day makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie-Dye Diva. You can also find me on Instagram as the_fiber tree. That is where I upload lots of content about planning and journaling. And it is also where you can link to my sticker and stationery shop, which is thefibertree.com. I will link to all of these locations in the description box below, as well as a link to where you can find show notes for this episode. So if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are a new viewer, welcome in. I'm so happy that you chose to check out the podcast today. So on today's agenda, I have the usual. I've got a couple of finished objects in knitting and crochet. What else do I have? I have a pretty big finished object in paper crafting that I'm so excited to share with you. Actually, I am really excited about all of the finished objects that I have to share with you today. So if I'm a little extra giddy, then you know why. So yeah, let's get into it without any further delay. The only other thing I want to mention before I get into the making content is last episode I talked about an issue I had with an order I received from Jimmy Bean's Wool. Well, I'm so happy to report to you that that issue has been resolved. If you watched the last episode, I talked about this set of bags here. This is from Della Q. It's the Della Q Snap Bag Set. It's a set of 3 bags from smallest to largest. And when I showed it on the podcast, I realized that the stitching was ripped. So a lot of you reached out and said, oh, they're an excellent company. Reach out to them and I'm sure they'll make it right. And they absolutely did. I sent an email to customer service. I think it was on a Monday, and I had an answer from a customer service rep the very same evening. And I would say in about 2 days, I had a replacement along with a return label to return the bag set that was torn. So I'm so happy with that resolution. And yeah, so just wanted to update you on that. You will probably find that my voice is still really raspy. Honestly, I don't think I fully got over the sinus infection situation thing that was going on before I got COVID. So it's probably just a combination of things. But yesterday I did start developing a sore throat. I felt really warm and feverish and really congested, like all over again. So I've been drinking a lot of water today. I just fixed myself a cup of tea, which is one of my favorites from Harney and Sons. This is actually from Stash, and it is the double bergamot Earl Grey. So if you love Earl Grey like I do, and you love that taste of bergamot, definitely try the double bergamot Earl Grey. It's really, really good. So I just made me a cup of this that I will be sipping on pretty frequently throughout the podcast so that my throat stays hydrated. It's so good. This mug is a Jenny the Potter mug, and this is the one that I picked up at this year's Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's start off with finished objects. So the first finished object I'm going to share with you is not something I personally made. It was something that was gifted to me by my dear friend Stacy in Baltimore. So this is the cowl that she made for me. I told her what color scheme I wanted, and she made it happen. Look how gorgeous this is. I think I see some double crochets, or maybe they're half double crochets, but I can't even begin to explain to you how this braiding was done. It's so, so beautiful and super, super warm. It was made out of a bulky weight yarn, as you can see, and I think it's about two colors. Two colors. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is it's a Lion brand. It's escaping me. It's a Lion brand yarn, and it's really, you probably have it right on the tip of your tongue. I cannot think of the name of this. I'll put it right here below. And I will link to the pattern that this is in the show notes once I get that from Stacy. So, yep, definitely wanted to share this wonderful gift. Our temperatures a couple of weeks ago dipped. No, that was this past weekend. Was that this past weekend? No, it was a couple of weekends ago in the single digits. It was really, really cold during the day. So in the nighttime, it may have even gotten to Z2 or 0. So it was pretty chilly, and this definitely kept me warm on that day. Normally when it's that cold, I don't go out, but I had to go out. So I was so happy to have this to keep me warm, and I matched it up with a knit hat that I had made. So yes, super, super. She actually said that she made this in a night. So I will definitely link to this pattern just in case you expert crocheters are interested in making it. So finished object number 2 is, why don't we just continue on with, well, you're looking at it right now, so I'll share it with you. I finished my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along for 2022, which is the Twist and Turn shawl. It's massive. This shawl, this is probably, it could very well be one of the largest shawls I've ever made. So let me, I can't get the whole thing in frame, so I'll just show you what it looks like from end to end. And it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So this was the very first part of the shawl that you would complete. This center panel here consists of rows of chevron stripes, as well as this really, really interesting braid technique that requires you to cast on and bind off in order to achieve that. The video support for this pattern is on YouTube for everyone. So if you're just curious to see how this is done, then you don't have to necessarily have purchased the pattern to see that, how this is done. And this could easily be incorporated into other, some other pattern that you'd like. At the very end of the shawl, he has you do something where you attach the very end of the braid. So that's what that looks like. And it is also finished with a twisted rib border. If you've seen this shawl, you also know that this center panel could have been knit much longer, but I chose what he called the early exit because I was honestly over it. I was so done. Look, I've got a pulled stitch here, and I'm pretty sure I can blame Cashmere for that, because as soon as I blocked it, he immediately laid on it. I went into the room to grab something, and I came back, and he was just wallowing all over it, all of my points that I had pinned down, and it took so much for me to get this shawl blocked on the floor, and he just, within a matter of minutes, ruined it. So I ended up taking it outside so that it could complete drawings, which meant that I wasn't able to get these points as pronounced as I wanted to, but it's fine. So the next section was these wedges here that were separated by some twisted rib. And then in the final part, you was that clue 3, I believe, was knitting this long strip of twisted stitches and cables, which I found quite enjoyable. There's also quite a bit of I-cord edging in this shawl, just very, very prominent throughout the whole shawl. And once these strips were knitted, you joined the strips by means of these stripes of color that got longer, that got shorter and shorter as you reach the tip of the long piece here. I got a couple of design elements in this shawl, and I've got a couple of just plain old mistakes. I was cracking up at Queen's Yarn Boutique's podcast. She was talking about a sweater she was making. She says, I'm not even going to call it a design element. It's a mistake. So one mistake that I made, I don't like to point out mistakes, but I'm trying to make a point here. So as you can see, this section of striping here, I believe it's the left side, it's done correctly. You can see how long that is. But then on this side, you can see it's not as long. And you can also see that this portion of the strip is kind of wavy. It's almost got a ruffle thing going on. And that is because I did something incorrect with the pickup. I must have skipped over a couple of stitches. So when I was getting close to finishing, I still had very little of this strip left, but many more stripes to go. So instead of taking all of this out, I said, you know what? I'm just going to have to live with it because, like I said, by clue 4, I was definitely ready to move on to something different. So what else can I say about this shawl? The yarns that I used, these are all mostly from Plucky Knitter. I've got some Primo Fingering, which is a lovely base of merino and cashmere. The green is a Plucky Oxford, which is also a combination of merino and cashmere. I will say that this green, I think, is the star of the show in this shawl. This yarn, this Oxford Fingering, is so delicious and yummy. When you're knitting with it, it doesn't have a lot of bounce. It's very it almost feels like you're knitting with cotton because it just doesn't give. But when you block the Oxford Fingering, it's just so amazing. I wish you could feel this. It's just so soft and so full and plump. It is listed as a fingering weight, but I do believe you could get gauge if you were doing, if you needed yarn for a sport weight or possibly even a DK weight, because it's just a really plump, full yarn. Loved doing the cable section. And I even took the liberty to add some mohair in certain places, including on the bind off section here. And this was, this beautiful mohair is from Legacy Fiber Arts that is paired with, I believe it's a Farmer's Daughter sock yarn. So I'll insert a picture of me wearing the shawl here, a couple of pictures, so that you can get a reference for how you might want to wear a shawl that is really, really wide, but not that deep. So my final thoughts about the Twist and Turns Mystery Knit Along for 2022. I thoroughly enjoyed knitting this in its individual sections. I learned quite a bit about new techniques and things I've never tried before. I I really enjoyed this section here where you knit the strip and then you join it to the body of the shawl by means of these stripes. This first part here was really trying. It's not difficult at all, but it is very tedious. It's a lot of twists and turns and just a lot of knitting and doing something completely different from what I'm used to doing. The instructions for the shawl, both written and video, were impeccable. Just absolutely impeccable. It's worth purchasing the pattern just to learn some new techniques. So that's the good. That's all the good. And there really isn't any bad. It's just that I'm not sure if mystery knit-alongs are for me. This shawl is a huge investment in time as well as in yarn. I didn't buy any yarn. I used it all from stash. If I were to see this pattern pop up in my Ravelry feed and other people were making it, it was a new pattern, it's probably not something I would be drawn to. That being said, I will definitely be wearing this. I'm going to wear it to death because I worked so hard on it. And it is beautiful. I feel like this shawl is more like a work of art than a wearable garment. It's very challenging to wear because of its because it is so wide. But I will work it out. I will work it out, but I don't think I will be doing any mystery knit-alongs for a very, very long time. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. I'm thrilled that it's done. It definitely was a challenge for me on so many counts. So I'm very proud of myself that I stuck with it. I learned a lot about myself as a maker, as well as about different knitting techniques that I've never tried before. So that's my thoughts on the Stephen West Twist and Turns shawl. I keep having wardrobe malfunctions. That's why I keep adjusting my blouse. Okay, so I do have one more finished object to share with you, and that is I finished Ray's scarf. So I shared this 2 weeks ago when I recorded. This is the Lion Brand One Ball Shawl, and it's all done. This is also a pretty long project. It's doubled, so I can't get the whole thing in frame, but there you go. It is a one ball shawl with a 1 row repeat after row 1. It's absolutely beautifully textured, really simple pattern. It is a free pattern. So it's basically a single crochet and 2 double crochets in the single crochet below. I'm definitely not a expert crocheter, so the fact that I was able to complete this and the edges are super straight, I'm going to toot my own horn on this one. But it's not so much me as it's 50% me and my effort, and no, okay, I'll say 30% me and my effort and 70% just a really wonderful, amazing pattern. The yarn that I chose was from a Hobby Lobby brand, which is I Love This Yarn. And I'm going to link to my pattern page because I can't remember the number. But it's this beautiful, almost like a cloudy blue with specks of navy. Loved knitting with it, loved stitching with this yarn. It is a 100% acrylic yarn, which I don't normally use, but I absolutely loved using it. It was plump, springy, just an absolute joy to work with. And I did add fringe. The pattern calls for you to cast on, I think, 30 stitches. And I cast on 40, I believe, because I wanted it to be a little wider. So you can just cast on any even number of stitches until it's the width that you want it. I love this stitch so much. I would love to have this in a cowl. So I'm gonna think about how I can incorporate that. But yes, again, this is the Lion Brand one ball scarf pattern. So that's it for finished objects. So let's move on into what I've been working on. For the most part, I've been exclusively working on the twist and turn shawl because I didn't want to carry that in to 2023. I'm going to cut my fan on. It's a bit warm. I didn't want to carry that whip into 2023. So I was working on that as well as my ranunculus sweater that I'll show you after this. So I enjoyed knitting the one ball shawl so much that I decided to make another one. So this was going to be for a dear friend, an older gentleman who, good friend of ours who recently lost his wife. And he's such a wonderful person, and we just love spoiling him and taking care of him. So I said, you know what, I think I'm going to knit. I'm going to crochet Dwayne a scarf. And this is the progress I've made on my second one ball scarf. This is also the same yarn as before, the Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. And this color is Nocturnal. And it's pretty much true to color there. It's a beautiful charcoal gray, black, and white. It's absolutely beautiful. I love this yarn. I do. I love it so much. I can't believe how much I love it considering it's a 100% acrylic yarn. The price point is incredible. I also only buy it when it's on sale. They have every couple of weeks or so all the yarn gets marked down to 30% off. So it makes it a really, really affordable gifting project as well, besides the fact that it's a lovely yarn. They even had some tweed colors, but it was really, really picked over. So I'm looking forward to when they restock and investigating what colors they have in the tweed as well. This blouse just doesn't want to cooperate today. Okay, so the last thing I'll share with you that I've been working on, I'll give you a quick peek of my ranunculus sweater. So I've made a little progress, not a ton. I did place my markers for, so I've gotten to the point, all the lace is done. I think all the lace is done. I don't know if there are any more lace sections. Don't quote me on that, but the majority of the lace is done. And now I'm working on the raglan increases. So the ranunculus has a beautiful yoke of lace and slip stitches, and the yoke is pretty deep. You're increasing for the yoke, but then you don't do the raglan increases until you're like right at this point. So I've placed my markers for my raglan increases, and I've already done about maybe 4 rows here. You can see there. I love this beautiful stitch marker set. That was, just dropped some stitches. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I was talking about these beautiful stitch markers here. So is a set, I believe it's a set of 4. Just these really, really interesting gems here. So like I said, these were gifted to me by my good friends at 29 Bridges Studio. You know how much I love their yarn. Oh, look at that one. So I think Mary, who does the yarn, makes these, or maybe Mike. Mike, Mary, tell me, which one of you guys make these? So they're great. They aren't snagging. That's what he wanted me to check and see whether or not they snag the yarn, and they absolutely don't. They're a joy to work with. So, yep, this is the progress on my ranunculus. Again, I've just started the raglan increases and really enjoying it. This yarn is from Queen's Yarn Boutique. I'm using her Pop Life fingering and also her mohair silk, and the color is Sherpa. Absolutely beautiful color. That's pretty much true to color, what you're seeing right there. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on in addition to my paper crafting projects. That's, let me take a quick peek at my notes just to be sure I'm not forgetting anything. A wardrobe adjustment. Note to self, don't wear this blouse on the podcast anymore. Okay, so we talked about the twists and turns, the one ball shawl. You know, the ranunculus is, the sweater pattern I just showed you is by Midori Hirose. Cafe Knit Midori is where you can find her on Ravelry, but again, I will link to all of this in the show notes in my project pages. Okay, so let's move on into a little bit of paper crafting. So I joined the Handmade Book Club sometime this year. It was a few months back. The woman who runs the Handmade Book Club, her name is escaping me right now. Somehow I found out about this on Instagram, and she was offering a 5-day challenge in which you could create several projects by hand, and I believe they were accordion books. I enjoyed that challenge so much. I mean, I stuck with it. I still have to do a few finishing touches on those and hope to share that with you soon. And so at the end of that challenge, she talked about her handmade book club, and I can't even remember the cost. It's a monthly membership, and there's a special project every month that you do. And to be honest, I really hadn't been keeping up with the projects, but the beauty of it is that once you join the club, the classes are there for you indefinitely. Well, one of the classes that's on the portal that has always interested me was the Coptic bound journal. Let me get a sip of tea. So I've been on vacation all week, and one of the goals I had this week was to try to complete a Coptic bound journal. That too was a 5-day challenge, so every day you had to do something, and it's really not a project you can do in one day because certain portions of the project have to sit. There's a lot of glue and gel matte medium, so you have to, let those projects sit and dry completely before you move on to step 2. So hence, that's why it takes 5 days. So without further delay, this is my journal. Look at that. I made a Coptic bound journal. Every single piece of this journal was cut and made by hand. So it's perfectly imperfect in so many ways, but I love it so much. So I learned quite a bit. These stitches here on the end are called kettle stitches. These stitches here are called link stitches. It's got 8 signatures, which you can see right here, which is pretty cool, I think. And when you open the journal, it pretty much lays flat. because of the way the signatures are sewn in. So look at that. So I can work in this, and it's, for the most part, it's going to lay nice and flat for me. So this, lots and lots of techniques on this. The first step was to cut your cover, and once you had your cover cut, you know what, I'm not even going to go through all the steps because I'm not going to remember them all the way. Let me just tell you some of the techniques. So if you look really, really close, behind this floral loveliness here, which is actually a napkin, a 3-ply napkin that you remove 2 of the plies, which is usually white. In this case, it was white. Then you're left with this really tissue thin napkin that gets glued over the cover. But before you do that, you do some collage of some newsprint. Can you see that in the background? So, so beautiful. And then once you get the newsprint down, then you can cover it with the napkin. And that's repeated for the front as well as the back. I used some vintage papers that I had in my stash. So very happy with the way this turned out. There's the inside, one of the inside covers. I need to erase that. That was just a marker to let me know which was the top and which was the bottom. Front and back. So I'm just so pleased with this. I loved every single part about making it. The sewing at the very beginning was a bit challenging to me, but then once I got going, I was like, I was on a roll. So again, my very first Coptic bound journal. I would love to have enough time to just make several of these and add them to the shop. So I don't know, maybe that's a goal I can set for myself. Let me know. Have you ever made a handmade book, journal, or of any sort? Is that something that would interest you? This is my very first time doing this, and it was not difficult. It was a challenge, but it was not difficult at all, and highly, highly enjoyable. So again, this is the Coptic Bound Journal from the Handmade Book Club. The membership is closed now, but if you follow her on Instagram or sign up for her newsletter, you can be notified when she's accepting new members. Okay, so let's move on into some acquisitions. Actually, I have quite a few acquisitions to share today. I'm going to move through them pretty quickly. Okay, so where should I start? So a couple weeks ago, I went to another of my local yarn shops, which is called Knits and Pieces. That is in Annapolis, Maryland, which is probably about a 40-minute drive from where we live. It's an absolutely beautiful town. Lots of restaurants, lots of shopping, and a lovely yarn shop, again, called Knits and Pieces. And I picked up this 2-piece Delicue bag set. So I'm on a Delicue roll. So here it is. As you can see, it is made out of wax canvas. It's just a very basic tote. Genuine leather handles. So that's nice for being able to knit on the go. And one thing I really love about Delicue bags, it didn't come with the rainbow bags I just showed you, but a lot of her bags come with a little journal. So these are perfect for keeping in your project bags. Oh my goodness, yes, a journal and a darning needle. Really, really nice. Nice touch. I just noticed that today. And there is the Delicue on the front there. So this comes as a set of 2. The medium I could probably do a one skein project in here, socks, or like a one skein shawl. This could possibly fit like a fingering weight sweater. It's pretty roomy. The sales rep at the yarn store was telling me to that the more you use it, the more it ages. And I mean, you know what wax canvas does. So I'm really looking forward to that. And it's such a pretty, pretty color. And the cost was really, really good. 2 bags for 30 bucks. I thought that was incredible. Let me double check. So these are called the Maker's Bags. And this apparently is from the Lotus collection. Yep, and it was $30 for 2 project bags. So really, really happy to have these in my stash. Another thing I picked up from Knits and Pieces is, just had a yarn avalanche. These here. Hold on, I need to grab something because something fell that I want to show you. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So I just ordered the most beautiful winter coat, unlike anything I have in my wardrobe. It's a beautiful lavender wool coat, and I want to make something to match it. So when I went to Knits and Pieces, I was looking. They have lots of beautiful samples. I was looking at their cowl samples, and one came across my mind. I believe it is called the Washington State cowl. If that's not right, I'm going to correct it right down here. And these are the colors that I chose for my Washington State cowl. So the lavender of the coat, it hasn't come yet. Otherwise, I will show it to you. Actually, I'll put a picture of it right here so you can see it. So these are the colors that I chose. You see that this is, these two are the same. This color is, what is this color? This color is Peggy. And this color is Phoebe. So Phoebe and Peggy, you can see it's a very low contrast, which is what I want. I didn't want anything too like in your face, because the coat is really not in your, it's a bright lavender. At least that's what it looked like. So I wanted something really muted that would blend with it. So I'm hoping that this works. So as I said, it's a 2-color cowl, and I decided to also add some mohair with it. So this is, about to drop it again. So this is the mohair I'm going to hold with the Peggy, the more purpley one. And this is the mohair I'm going to hold with the pinky orange color. How gorgeous is that? So excited to get this cast on. So this, and I think this will be a really quick knit, because this is Malabrigo Mecca, and it's a bulky weight yarn, and I'm holding it with the Lana Grossa Silk Hair Palettes. So this is a Super Kid mohair, and as you can see, it's got sparkle. Look at that. This is going to be something special. So I will, my goal is to get this, maybe this will be my New Year's Day cast on. Maybe. I'm thinking about a couple of things. We'll talk about that in Knit and Chat. So yes, so excited about this project. I don't normally knit with purple, so I didn't really have any purple or lavender in stash to work for that, so that's why I had to purchase. So this here I'm going to show you next is something I ordered several weeks back. from the Grocery Girls. So they were doing a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. They collaborated with Maple and Thread to present this beautiful bag here. So, you know, Thread and Maple is a wonderful company out of Canada, and they're known for their beautiful leather projects. So Thread and Maple, the bag is from Thread and Maple. You can see the breast cancer awareness sign there, the Thread and Maple logo. This leather is so yummy. It's so beautiful. And it also included the yarn to make socks. The pattern is called Hope and Sunshine Socks. I'm going to put a picture of those socks here. So look how beautiful that is. Really, really pretty. I believe the pattern was designed by one of the Grocery Girls. I believe it was Tracy who designed the Hope and Sunshine Socks. This yarn was dyed by Louie and Lola. And I believe it was exclusive to the collaboration. So really, really looking forward to making those. Really looking forward to using this cute little bag. I may put it aside for the summertime. So, so cute. And it was just nice being able to contribute towards breast cancer awareness. My mom was a breast cancer survivor. So that is definitely something that's very near and dear to my heart. And just as a reminder to never forget about self-examinations as well as your yearly mammograms. So important because a lot can happen. A lot can happen in a short period of time. So definitely keep up with those appointments, ladies. Okay, just a couple more things. I got a couple of my Farmer's Daughter Sock Squad installments. So this is from December. This is the December colorways. How beautiful is that? It's so wintry and yummy. This beautiful blue with some royal bluish purple. And look at that. Look at that mini. Looks like snow. This color is 2 Medicine. And this is on the high wood sock base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And January's installment actually came yesterday, which is pretty cool. And how beautiful is this? So definitely different from, this is leaning more like lavendery purples, and this has a little bit more green in it. But again, this is January, and it's paired with this beautiful mini. And this is on the Pentler sock base, which is a 25% merino, 25% nylon base, and the color is chicory. Okay, another thing that came in the mail is this lovely skein of yarn. It is a 100% cotton yarn. It is a fingering weight, and it's 437 yards. This is so, so pretty. So I picked this up. I came across a new to me podcast, and I'm almost sure the name is A Woolen Forest. If that's not correct, I'm going to put it right down here. Lovely host, lovely presentation. It's just so calming and relaxing. I believe she's somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and she dyes with indigo, and she also creates the most beautiful garments like ponchos and wraps and things. So I'll link to her website so that you can see those. But I decided to pick up this skein of cotton that was hand dyed with indigo. This is my very first time purchasing anything dyed with indigo. It's a beautiful color. This is The camera is blowing this out quite a bit. It's more, I can't even describe it. The camera is making it look more bluish green, but it's really almost like a medium denim blue is what it's more like. It's so beautiful. So I had already had in my mind I was going to create something for the summertime with this. So I have to come up with a pattern, maybe like a one ball shawl or something like that. Not a one ball shawl, a one skein shawl. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Do you enjoy knitting with cotton yarns? What are some of your favorite patterns, or what are some of your tips and tricks on needles, wooden or metal? Or I'd be interested in hearing it. I do want to have so many goals as far as my making for 2023. I want to work on more summer garments. I'm usually knitting wool in the summer for the following season, but I would love to maybe like the end of February, early March, start working on a couple of summer items that I can wear, like sweaters and tanks and whatnot. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear what are some of your favorite patterns. The last thing I will share with you that I got was another gift that was gifted to me from my boss, director, co-worker, all around great guy. He just got back from vacationing in Spain. He was gone for 2 weeks, and he brought me yarn back. So this is from Rose's Crafts. The yarn is called Confetti. It is a 100% cotton. It's hand dyed, and it is again from Rosa Crafts in Barcelona, Spain. He did pretty good, didn't he? So beautiful. So again, I need pattern ideas for this. It's let's see here. It doesn't say what the weight is, but if I had to guess, I would say it's about a sport or a DK weight. It's really, really, really pretty, and I definitely want to use this. He had traveled to, what was his big trip before Spain? He went to, oh, what's the place that's super, super cold and it's really affordable to travel there? Maybe if I drink some more tea, I'll remember. I can't. I'll put it right down here. You guys are probably screaming it. I'm telling you guys, I don't know if it's a menopause thing or if it's, I don't know. Sometimes my brain just, like it's been wiped clean. Oh boy. Tell me I'm not the only one. Okay. That's really bugging me that I can't remember that last place he traveled. Okay. Get over it, Trish. Anyway, the reason I was mentioning the previous place he traveled was because he had actually picked up some yarn for me there too. I know exactly where it is. But some really, really rustic wools. I believe some Let Lopi and a new to me dyer that I'd never tried before. And I haven't used that yarn yet, but I definitely want to make sure I use this. So that's it for the acquisitions. What else did I want to chat about? Let's just chat. Let's just chat for a little bit. Do you have your knitting with you? Or your crocheting? I wanted to work on my scarf, my crochet scarf for a bit while we sit and chat. All right. So let me grab my hook. I've got my yarn. I was also going to say, I always struggle, I think I talked about this, struggle with finding the center pull. This particular one, it was waiting for me right there. I was like, yes. And it just makes it so much easier. Okay, so let's chat about a couple of things. So a couple of you have reached out to me um, and asked about eyeglasses. Um, so let's chat about eyeglasses. So I've been wearing glasses for maybe the past 10 years. I remember not wearing glasses, and I would always say, I want to wear glasses because glasses are so cool. And now that I have to wear them, it's a pain because I'm always putting them down. Um, and I don't know, it when you need them and you don't have them, or you got to find them, it's not, it's the fun and games are over, right? But I always said, if I end up having to wear glasses, they're going to be the cutest glasses ever. So that's what I try to do. I get a lot of my glasses, the majority of my glasses in recent years, I have purchased from a company called Zenni, Zenni. I learned about Zenni from a dear friend of mine, Shalfante. I remember years ago, before I started wearing glasses, my sons needed to wear glasses, and I remember taking them for their first appointment and getting their prescription and getting their cute glasses. They look so studious and handsome in their glasses. And I will never forget one Saturday, my son called me from my place of worship. He was like, "Mom, I was helping to cut the grass, and my glasses fell off, and I think I rolled over them with the lawnmower." I was like, okay, this child needs glasses, but we've already used the insurance, and I didn't have the money to pay out of pocket. What am I going to do? So I was telling my good friend Shafante about it, and of course we chuckled because that was a typical Adrian story. my older twin Adrian, we have some stories, I tell you. But anywho, she said, "Well, just have you ever heard of Zenni? Just go on Zenni. You can get him a pair of glasses for $7." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" So went on to Zenni. Their glasses start at $6.95, and the rest is history. We've been ordering from Zenni for the longest. As a matter of fact, last night I just placed an order. I had about $65 left in my flexible spending account, and I have until the end of the year to use it. So believe it or not, I purchased 3 pair of prescription strength readers from Zenni for under $70. So I'm gonna let that sink in for a bit. I remember when I first had to start going to get eye exams, when I realized my vision was, I was having issues with my vision. And I'm like, okay, I want some cute glasses. If I gotta wear them, I want some cute glasses. So that's what I did. I got my glasses, and it was a pair of, it was a high-end designer. It was Versace, something along those lines. Pretty deeply discounted because of the insurance, but I paid quite a bit out of pocket for those glasses. And do you know that those glasses, they seem to have just disappeared into thin air. It's like I had them in the house and I never found them again. If we ever move from this place, I don't even know if I'd find them then. We've changed furniture so many times. We've bought new furniture. We've painted. Still no glasses. So after that, I said, I will never pay what the ophthalmologists, what they want for some of these glasses. I'm not, after that experience, I'm really not into like big designer names. Good friends of mine have beautiful frames from Prada and Coach, but because I'm prone to losing them, and I can get really, really nice ones at Zenni. Hey, Cash. Cashmere the cat just walked in. Hey, Tinkaboo. Hey there. Hey, Fluffy Butt. Did you wake up from your nap to come get mommy hugs. So, yes, just been ordering from Zenny ever since then. And recently, they have even started having designers. So, one designer that just joined them was Iris Apfel. So I actually ordered one of her pairs of glasses last night. That was on my list. So yes, that's where I get a lot of my glasses from. The ones that I'm wearing right now, I got from Zeelool, Zeelool, I believe. They're pretty cool. They're a metal frame. As you can see here, cat eye. I really enjoy a cat eye frame. And they're basically readers. So if I don't need to read, or if I don't need to knit, or need them for crochet, I'm always looking over my glasses. Like, I can't help it. I don't want to have to keep taking them off and on. So I'll usually wear them just a little over past the bridge of my nose so that I can look over and be nosy and see what else I need to see. So yeah, definitely recommend Zenny and Zeelool. And there's one more, Vogelme. I believe that's how you say it. I will link to all three of these locations. I've also found some really cute frames there. So yeah, that's pretty much my story for eyeglasses. Hope that helps. Thank you guys for your lovely comments on the last episode. Really appreciated that. I'm so glad you enjoyed the blouse I was wearing. A couple of you asked if it was hand embroidered. No, it was not hand embroidered. I purchased that blouse from a company called Lane Bryant. It's a chain store, and every once in a while, I can go in there and find something really special. And when I saw that blouse, I was like, yes, I have to have this. This is super cute. So ended up getting that from Lane Bryant. Of course, it was on sale. It was probably off season. And they have sales often. And they do cater to plus sizes exclusively. I think they start at a 12W. They go all the way up to a 36W if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that blouse came from Lane Bryant. So my tip is that if you're a larger woman and you're looking for really cute things, hopefully you like to shop, because you really do have to look often. When the beginning of the seasons happen and the clothes are like regular price, just, maybe keep a little notepad or a journal of which things you want, and just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Look for coupons and sales. I don't buy any clothing unless it's on sale. And the deeper the discount, the better. So that's one of my favorite places for plus size clothing. I also shop at Ashley Stewart on occasion. Another one is Iloquii. All of these companies are mass-produced companies, but I think most of what we purchase, that is the case. The lavender coat I was telling you about is going to come from Iloquii, and I will tell you that coat, after the discount and the sale they had, the coat was $42. Where are you going to go to get a beautiful plus size coat like that for 40 bucks? You just can't do it. So again, just keep an eye on the sales. It is a bit annoying because I sign up for emails and I feel like I'm always getting emails and text messages, and I have no self-control. So yeah, but I just, that coat, that beautiful, at that price, I just couldn't pass it up. But yeah, sometimes you'll find some really cute stuff in places like that. So that's a tip on finding really beautiful clothing for plus size bodies. Finally, let's chat about knitting plans, immediate knitting plans. So happy Twist and Turns is off of the needles. Now I feel like I can really focus on finishing my ranunculus. And I also really, really, really want to participate in the Bougie Sweatshirt Knit Along. How fun does that sound? Again, it's the Bougie Sweatshirt Knit Along, hosted by Casey of the Young Folk Knits podcast. If you don't watch Casey and her podcast, do yourself a favor, check her out. She's so bubbly and lovely. As a matter of fact, she and Rochelle at Queen's Yarn Boutique is the reason I decided to add the knit and chat feature to the podcast, because I love it when she does that. She does a regular podcast and she does some other things as well, but just a lovely, lovely, lovely presentation and a lot of fun. And she has the most adorable Southern accent. So again, that's the Young Folk Knits podcast. So she will be hosting the Bougie Sweatshirt Make Along, which is actually started yesterday, December 28th, and it goes all the way until March, the end of March 2023. So that's plenty of time to stitch up yourself a bougie sweatshirt. So join me. I'm going to link to her. She created a bundle of ideas for sweatshirts type sweater. So the whole idea is to knit something that's really cozy, maybe oversized, that kind of reminds you of a sweatshirt. And the bougie comes in because it's handmade. So anything that's handmade is qualifies as bougie. And I even ordered myself a new coffee mug to go with the theme of the Bougie Sweatshirt Make Along. So I cannot wait to get started with that. That will probably be my January 1st cast on. So I've got a couple of days to make some really good progress on my ranunculus sweater. Perhaps I can get to separating for the sleeve. So all I have to do on that is to just knit, and I can have, I don't like having two sweaters on the needles, but that will probably be the case. So really, really looking forward to that. And I have to sit down with my planner and get really serious about what direction I want my making to take in 2023. One thing for sure, I want to get back on the sewing machine. So stay tuned for more updates on that. Taking a quick peek at my show notes. I think I covered it all. I do think I covered it all. So thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Making. Please let me know what you thought about today's podcast. Leave a comment below. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you are subscribed if that is your desire. You can also sign up for notifications so you'll know when I upload a new video. And what else? I think that's it. So I will see you again in the new year. Stay safe, stay well, and have so much joy in your making. I'll see you next time. Bye.